Alright, the first part about this video is to be able to identify similar triangles. Now, the first time that we did similar triangles, we were looking at the corresponding sides on the triangle, and then we looked to see if they are multiplied by the same scalar. In other words, we set up a proportion and then we cross multiplied and see if the number comes up on the same on both sides. So that's what we did with the sides. But this one is about the angles. And so if I have a triangle here, and I have another triangle here, and let's say this triangle says, okay, this is 85 degrees, and this one is 45 degrees. Then over here, let's say this one says this is 85 here, and then this is 50 up here. Now, in order for them to be similar, they actually have to have all the angles the same, or at least two angles the same. I'll talk more about that part in just a second. But what I wanted you to see here is that if we know two angles of a triangle, we should be able to find a third angle. And so if here we have 85 degrees and then 45 degrees, let's see, that adds up to 130 degrees. And they all have to add up to 180, so that means that this one is 50. And same thing here, if we add these up and we solve for the other one, it turns out that this is 45. Now, if we even knew that two of these were true, were the same as two of these other ones, then we know that automatically, because of the rule of 180, that the third one would be. The rule is called AA, and that stands for angle-angle. So if we know that two angles are equal or congruent to two angles on the other triangle, then we know that the triangles are similar. Okay? That's pretty much it. The big reason why I wanted to show you this one is that we sometimes have to do a little bit of math in order to figure out if the angles are congruent. Alright. So, an example of a problem that we want to talk about here is, let's say we have the situation, and we kind of saw this in class, we have the situation like this. And let's say we got a right angle there, and we got a right angle there. And we said, are these two triangles, this one right here, and then the big one right here, are these two triangles congruent? Well, in order to do that, we'd have to have two angles. Right now, we actually have this angle right here. It's part of the big triangle, but it's also part of the little triangle. And of course, it's equal to itself. So we got a 90 and x. And then we got a 90 over here and an x. So the two triangles, this triangle right here and this big huge triangle right here, are similar to each other. Now, when this actually comes in handy is in word problems like this one right here. Let's say we got a big tree. You know, do. Isn't that a great artistic tree? So we got a big tree here. And then we have Joe Bob. And Joe Bob is standing right here. And the sun is kind of coming down from up here in the corner, and it casts a shadow down just like this. And it actually makes two triangles, just like we saw on the other page. Well, if we know that Joe Bob is 6 feet tall, and we know that his shadow from right here to right here is 10 feet, and Joe Bob walks over to see how far he is away from the tree, and maybe Joe Bob is 20 feet from the tree, we now have enough information to find out how tall this tree is, which is X feet tall. Because if we look at the big triangle, we have an X, and then the bottom is a total of 30. So we could say, all right, well, that's an X, and we'll say it's over, and then we have a 30. And over here, the X and the 6 are in the same spot, so 6. And the 10 and the 30 are in the same spot, so a 10. And then we cross multiply, we get 10x equals 180. We divide both sides by 10. X equals 18 feet. So we're able to tell how tall the tree is. Now there's a lot of problems like this that they might be just a little bit different in how they're set up, but all of these are based on the whole idea of similar triangles. And a few of them might get a little bit into the algebra that we did before, where we might even have two variables involved in this, but they still don't get too much worse. The whole concept is right here, though. All right, that's it. We'll see you next class. Bye.